Hi, I'm Jean Jennings from Automobile Magazine, and I'm here with the CEO of Ford, the rock star of rock stars in my business, Alan Mulally. So Alan, Volvo. I think we want to talk about Volvo because that is a big deal for you guys. You've just sold Volvo for $1.3 billion. Was that correct? 1.5?
For $1.8 billion.
Ooh.
Yes, I know. Now, but to your point, Gene, it's really important, as you know, because 3 years ago we decided that we're going to focus on Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury. And at the time, Ford had become a house of brands. And so we divested Jaguar and Land Rover and Aston Martin, took down our equity relationship in Mazda. And now, as you point out, we just completed the sale of Volvo, which is great. We got a great owner, but what it really means now is going to unleash all the creativity one more time inside Ford to focus on a full family of vehicles under the Ford brand.
That has been your plan all along,
exactly.
Except you didn't put Volvo up for sale then, and I know there were people looking to buy it, so why not then?
Well, I think at the time, we really agonized about where Volvo was as far as a business and where their product line was.
You're pretty integrated with...
Well, but also, you know, that we made some big decisions to keep investing in Volvo, because if we were going to sell them, then it had to be a good product line as well as a good business. So we waited a little bit until we got the new products coming, and now they've got a great lineup, and I think it's time to do it.
You know, Ford spent many more billions buying Volvo than they spent selling Volvo. What did Ford ever get from Volvo? My guess is zero.
Well, I think there's some enabling technology, especially on the safety side, because Volvo clearly, for many years, had a lead. And one of the neat things about Ford now is it is considered one of the premium safe vehicles on all of our lineup. So I think that was a good partnership with Volvo.
You know, when Renault bought into Volvo some years ago, they pretty much stripped all that safety technology for themselves. Suddenly they had all these five-star cars coming out of Renault. Are you worried? And I know there must be concern that the Chinese buying Volvo will have access to a lot of your electronics and some highly proprietary technology. What do you do about that?
Well, I think in our case, the most important thing we do to compete is to keep innovating and using the latest technology, and that'll be our competitive advantage. And clearly they're going to have a global brand and global capability, but our business plan is to be more competitive, use technology and innovation, and move faster than our competition.
What are you going to do with the money? I assume you're just going to pay off some of that a little bit higher rate debt.
That's a very good assumption, because clearly we have a lot of uses of money. One is to improve our balance sheet, like we were talking about, and you notice that even with our warrant, with the warrant sale and the Volvo sale, that we're also going to now pay down part of the revolver, because our plan is to continue to improve our balance sheet.
And great news on the warrant sale for the UAW.
It's fantastic.
How much money? I mean, they made some money. They put themselves on the line for Ford and got some money back.
Absolutely, and that was part of the deal, exactly, Gene, because we put in the agreement these options that they could buy depending on what the stock price was. So I think they're doing what anybody would do. They're diversifying their portfolio, and now they're financing their retiree health care, which is fantastic. Remember, our plan was always profitable growth for all. So as Ford does well, everybody, all stakeholders do well.
It's got to soften up the UAW a little bit for you, huh?
Well, they really have appreciated the close working together relationship with Ford.
Very nice. What does that do for your stock in the short term? Is it going to hit it at all?
Well, I think people are still digesting this information, because I think some people thought that it might be dilutive, and not realizing that we had already allocated those shares before Christmas when we put it in. So all that's happening now is we're just changing ownership of the shares, and people will figure that out. But the real stock price represents everybody's thinking about the long-term value creation, and clearly the investors love where Ford's going with our focus on great cars and trucks.
Well, speaking of long-term and getting back to Volvo, the news is out. You've sold Volvo to Geely, and Louis Booth is in the papers, and then it says the deal is expected to be finished sometime in September. Can you explain to people how that works?
Well, first of all, we necked it down to Geely, And then what we announced on Sunday was a definitive agreement. So that means we have all the commercial terms decided, all the technical terms decided, all the intellectual property terms, so we have a firm deal. Now the only thing left to do is to finish the regulatory and the government approvals, which we have to do in both the United States and in China. But nobody sees any issues with doing that, but that's just part of the process of getting the final approvals.
And of course the Chinese famous way of doing business, which is the deal's all done, and then they roll up their sleeves and start doing the deal.
We're very glad to complete the and finalize the agreement to sell Volvo.
So you think it's final? They might not. I see that by September, Louis Booth will probably be speaking Chinese and Swedish.
Louis has done a great job.
When does he get to come home?
Whenever he would like, and I think that it's going to be done on schedule.
Well, this is great. You have, I think that's it. That's the last bit of the puzzle out there. Now you're really focused here at the show. You're moving forward with your first Mercury hybrid.
Absolutely, and you look at the Mercury lineup now, and you've really followed that closely and reported it well. We have probably the finest Lincoln lineup we've ever had with the MKZ now, and also with the MKX, the MKS, and then the MKT. So people are very excited about the Lincoln lineup.
After 3 years, you probably know what all those MKs are, don't you?
I do. I think I learned most of them when I met you the first time. And you
I was a little rude.
And you still have some questions about whether everybody else gets.
Questions about that.
But we're working on that too.
Still working on some names.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I
Jean,
really appreciate it. Have a great show.
Don't you want to go through the whole product lineup one more time?
Oh my God,
the Ka, the Fiesta, the Focus, the Fusion, the new Taurus, and the Mustang, the Escape, the Edge, the Flex, the new Explorer, the Expedition, the Ranger, the F-Series, the E-Series, and the Transit. There we go.
All right, give me that diesel Transit.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye.
So long.
Thank you.
And that's that.